Most of us are taught that success comes from sheer discipline, from just working more hours than anyone else. And look, that can get you pretty far, maybe even into the top 10%. But if you want to reach that top 1%, the rules of the game are completely different. The real secret isn't about working harder. It's about designing systems that do the hard work for you. And that's the powerful shift we're going to dig into today.
So, on one side, you've got the common approach, right? The top 10% method. It's all about more willpower, more grinding, more discipline, just brute force. But on the other side, you have the elite strategy, the top 1% method. This is all about designing intelligent systems, engineering your own commitment, and automating your actions so that success becomes the easiest possible choice. This is the fundamental difference we're here to explore.
Okay, so first things first. We have to dismantle the biggest myth out there, something I like to call the willpower trap. It's this vicious cycle that so many of us get caught in, where we set these huge, ambitious goals only to fall short. And then, what do? We blame ourselves every single time.
I mean, come on. We've all had this day, right? You wake up, you feel like a superhero, you've got your coffee, your to-do list is ready to be crushed. But then, 8 p.m. rolls around, and you've debated, delayed, and renegotiated almost every single thing on that list. You end the day feeling like a total failure. But here's the thing. You haven't failed. This is not a personal flaw. It is a strategic one. You've just walked right into the trap.
And this, right here, this is the way out. It's the core idea. The most successful people on this planet get this. They don't have some secret stash of extra willpower. They've just stopped relying on it altogether. They build systems that make doing the right thing the default option.
So that brings us to our very first principle, engineer commitment. Now, this isn't about just hoping you'll follow through. Nope. This is about creating an environment where you literally have no other choice. It's about trapping yourself, on purpose.
Picture this, it's 1519. The conqueror Hernán Cortés lands in Mexico to take on the entire Aztec Empire. The odds are absolutely impossible. So to make sure his troops were 100% all in, he gave a simple, terrifying order: sink the ships. Just like that, there was no going back, no retreat, no surrender. See, when you eliminate Plan B, you have no choice but to pour every ounce of your being into making Plan A work.
Now, in behavioral design, this idea has a name, and it's called a forcing function. It sounds kind of technical, but it's a really simple concept. It's any constraint you build for yourself that corners you, leaving your desired action as the only possible way out. It is a seriously powerful tool for forcing your own growth.
And here are 4 dead simple ways you can create one in your own life. First, public commitment. Announce your goal online. Tell your friends. Social pressure is an ancient and powerful motivator. Second, put some financial stakes on the line. Pay for that gym membership or that course up front. We humans absolutely hate losing money. Third, cut the access. Just delete the distracting apps from your phone. Block the websites. And fourth, time box. Give a task a hard, non-negotiable deadline.
All right, so you've engineered your commitment. But what about that little voice inside your head that still tries to talk you out of things? Well, that brings us to our second principle. You have to design for your biology, not against it, because willpower, it's not a virtue. It's a finite biological resource, just like your energy. Check out this famous study by a researcher named Roy Baumeister. He brought 2 groups of people into a lab that smelled of fresh-baked cookies. Group 1 got to eat the cookies. Group 2 had to sit there and just resist them. Afterwards, he gave both groups impossible puzzles to solve. The twist? The group that had to resist the cookies gave up on the puzzles 50% faster. Crazy, right? And here's the crucial takeaway. Just the act of resisting those cookies drained their mental energy. Think of your willpower like the fuel tank in your car. Every tiny decision you make, every little distraction you fight off, it all drains that tank, sip by sip. By the end of the day, it's running on empty. And that's not a weakness, that's not a moral failing, it's just biology. The world's fastest sprinter, Noah Lyles, he gets this. He has ADHD, so he knows he can't trust his willpower in the moment. So what does he do? He builds a rigid routine. Same track, same playlist, same warm-up, 6 days a week. When that starting gun goes off, his body already knows exactly what to do. And as he says, that's not discipline, that's design. So how do we apply this kind of design to our own lives? Well, it's actually with a super simple but incredibly powerful algorithm for your brain. It's called I-then planning. You make the decision way ahead of time. The formula is easy. If a specific thing happens, then I will perform a specific action. You completely remove the need for an in-the-moment debate with yourself.
And get this, the results are absolutely staggering. An NYU study looked at students who wanted to exercise more. The group that just set a goal, they failed to follow through 62% of the time. But the group that used a simple if-then plan, like if it's Monday at 7 a.m., then I will go to the gym, they only failed 9% of the time. Think about that. Same motivation, radically different system.
Okay, so we've engineered commitment. We're designing for our biology. The final principle is all about taking yourself out of the equation as much as you possibly can. It's time to automate your actions.
Take a look at this number, -47%. It represents a massive life-saving reduction in something really important. Any ideas what it could be?
That was the drop in surgical deaths after the World Health Organization introduced a simple 19-step checklist. We're talking about world-class surgeons making small preventable errors under intense pressure. The checklist, with simple things like confirm patient identity, it acted as a safety net for their brains. Same incredible surgeons, same skills, but a simple system made them dramatically better.
And here's the big paradox. The more of an expert you become, the more you need checklists. Pilots with 10,000 hours of flight time still use them before every single takeoff. Not because they forget how to fly, but because they don't trust their memory when the pressure is on. You can use 3 simple types: a classic to-do list for execution, a to-want list for creative expansion, and a to-be list for your personal growth and evolution. Now, ultimately, automation leads to this fascinating flip in our psychology. See, we think we need motivation in order to act, but the science shows the exact opposite is true. Repetition is what creates motivation. Once your brain learns to predict the pattern of an action, it actually begins to crave the cue to get started. Your biology literally starts to pull you forward.
So let's bring this all home. Engineering your commitment, designing for your biology, and automating your actions, it all really comes down to one single thing: building your very first simple system.
The most important point is this: stop trying so hard to be a more disciplined person and start becoming a better architect of your own behavior. Because if you build the right systems, those systems will, in turn, build the right you.
Now, don't try to go and overhaul your entire life overnight. That's just another version of the willpower trap. So instead, I'm just going to leave you with this one question. What one tiny, simple system will you design and build tomorrow?